You know, with the emotional aspect of what music provides, it reminds us that we're alive. You know, I think to some extent it reminds us we're alive and that we're, for lack of a better term, creatures of God.
I think we come at it from very different perspectives there, because I really think we are, I know we've had these conversations before, I really think we are flesh and blood creatures and that's it. But that doesn't change the fact that you have very powerful experiences, you know. So, and one of the things that I think good songs can do is that you feel this kind of connection, or you feel like you are understood, you know, that someone else has had similar feelings as you, or similar upsetnesses or happinesses, and that's what I think is very powerful about it. You feel less alone, you feel connected to people, and that's why people like music so much, I think.
You are still doing it all this time later with a policy and lifestyle practically toward keeping it sustainable in your life and your process.
Yeah, which has been challenging, having a family and having, you know, a job. It's been I didn't think I would still be doing it, but there's something about the process that I guess is good for me, so.
So for me, as a songwriter or song maker, I'm very pop oriented, like not like modern pop, like 80s pop. I'm very 80s pop oriented. Like I'm thinking melody, a hook, these typical things that are musical, you know, benchmarks. When you're making something like experimental, how is the process different for you? What is the difference?
Well, those things often happen late at night when everyone else in the house has gone to bed, and it is, I have to say, it is a bit like a trippy experience. It's a bit like, you know, a drug-like experience, and so the late night stuff is very much about capturing a particular feeling that you're feeling right there and then, and it's about trying to make it, I mean, in a funny way, rock, you know, with the synths. You can really push the grittiness of it and the filters and make it really screech and scream. And so the technology is integral to the songwriting and composition process. It's so strange because sound is so connected to our emotions, you know. It's such a direct link. Any sound, you know, like you know, if someone's using a jackhammer on the street, you have a physical and an emotional reaction. What I've really enjoyed is to just capture that to one performance take, and that's it. You know, I don't spend weeks fine-tuning, you know, the different instruments, and I really like that now. And mistakes and all, and sometimes you hear things that are not right and whatever. I might cut out some sections and glue them together.
I find this so interesting with like talking to you and Ian about you guys' process with the
he does that too.
Music, which is so interesting how much of a jazz philosophy it must entail just by the nature of the process.
It's kind of like jazz, but it involves a lot of preparation, you know. So the preparation is very methodical and almost kind of scientific or something. But then the performance, it's nice. I find it nice just to capture it in the moment. You can always try again, you know. So it's like a live performance, I guess. Many years ago, I was just a traditional songwriter, and so then it's you know, with a notebook and writing lyrics and playing some chords on a guitar, and I did that for decades, I think. But now I don't work like that at all anymore. It was always, it felt very much like left to chance. You know, you would have to get a spark, inspiration, and that was quite scary about that process because I didn't have a method really. I just would wake up from a dream and there would be a song.
Literally wake up from a dream.
Yeah, like a melody, and then you want to frantically try to you know, hang on to it. I don't write notes, and so I'd have my own strange method or a recorder in later days. And I always found the lyrics were the hardest for me then. And so what I used to do, I would write lyrics and have them without music. And then when, the musical inspiration strikes, I would scramble to find, lyrics that would fit with those rhythms. The hardest one is when you have a melody and a rhythm and then you have to put words to that. It's really hard to do for me.
That's so interesting, because for me, I find the process sometimes is the opposite. I've had experiences where I write the words first and then the music, and then I put music to that. I often actually find I start with the music, and literally a song that I write, I might for months not even know the words. I already wrote the song. I have a few songs that literally for the first million times I played them, all I did was go just make sounds up, and then eventually words, found their way, in. You were writing songs and already a songwriter, in high school before even I started playing with you, right? I mean, you came to when we started first making music, you already had a whole bunch of songs, and we just kind of brought them to life with the band. I never wrote songs before 10 years ago.
I remember,
You were always a songwriter, and I always found that to be a big, mysterious ability.
Paul Simon, who I really admire, he goes to an office and has done most of his career. He just goes to the office to write his songs. When I wrote actually the Illustrated Man, because I had a space, you can put aside a time every day or every couple times a week, which I did do one summer. So there was a derelict building that I shared with some visual artists, and we paid very little rent, and we all had a key, and I had a little office there. It was cold, and the walls were falling apart, but I would go there in my free time, a morning, every couple times a week. I would sit with my guitar and my notebook and just try stuff and hope something, and almost every day something would come out of it. And so there is, even though the way you get to the song doesn't have to always be the same, and can't be, but you can, like writers do, you can set aside time for creativity and stuff will happen. And my output was much more when I did that, but now I don't have that space anymore.
Very interesting and meaningful. I think really being intentional about it.
Yeah.
Thing that people feel is kind of this esoteric, magical thing that, how do you just do this magical thing like write a song? But it's actually something that if you put intention into, you can even do it so methodically as someone like Paul Simon, who obviously everyone knows is prolific and a great artist. And he would just, I guess that's actually really interesting to know that he just went to the office.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you're really young, everything feels in the moment, and so the idea of inspiration is much more important. But I think you can develop routines as an artist.
And maybe it's a thing of being younger or whatever it is. You feel like all these magical things that you've never seen before, and then as you get older, you realize, that they're cool, but they happen every once in a while, and you can make them happen, and it's not necessarily magic.
Yeah, and it's just a thing. It's a craft, just like someone might build chairs.